gonna do this again. Now I gotta fix my camera again. Now it's going to the opposite of daylight. It's got it's completely, oops, what am I looking at here? Alright, well, don't know how great that is, but it'll do. It'll do, man. Alright, so let's get back to it, shall we? Gonna do some more painting. As you see, I got my crab here. You know, I think my water is probably getting pretty ready to go for the next round of liquid, which means I could probably put my crabby in there. Let's glue him in, shall we? I'm gonna go ahead and I need my light. Like, look at the magnifying glass. No, don't look at the magnifying glass. Alrighty, let that sit for half a second while I close my lid. And this is what I'm working on here. This is just tape around the outside edges. Get crabby in there. All right, let's get some more liquid in there. I'm gonna need more of this. I'm already, see how much have I done? I'm already got it down to a quarter. This is a big water thing for such a small bottle of water stuff. I actually wanted to go more over. So I think we're only supposed to do about 3 millimeters at a time though. Question is, have I done 3 millimeters? It's not supposed to be too much at once. Kind of looks like I'm about 3 millimeters, so I'm gonna have to wait for another dose. But you can get this stuff in like big containers, I think. I think I saw like a, okay, I'm already half a bottle. It's just putting it on one guy. I mean, I need more water texture, acrylite. I wish I could figure out a way to, I wonder if I disturb, or I wanted it to have ripples or something like that, but it is cool. It's very blue, very clear. I don't know how to give it ripple effect. I think there is actually one that's supposed to have like busy water, and I wouldn't put it on the whole thing. I might like just pour it on the top layer. I don't know what busy water would look like, but something like that. So, hey Ivan, how you doing? Yeah, this is a guy who's not Frosthaven yet, but I was just doing his base. But I'm gonna actually get my. This is a crab I'm working on for my. Can't really handle it because I just poured water, or poured the water effect in there. So now I'm going to go ahead and do some Frosthaven, guys. Like I promised I would do earlier today and didn't do. Or like I said I was going to do. Promise, I don't know. I've got I got two guys that aren't finished. And that's Adrian and Royce. And then I have guys I haven't even started yet. So I got Adrian and Royce, which is the banner spear, and those two guys aren't finished, but they're closing in on getting closer to finished. So this is my banner spear. He's coming out okay, or she is, but she's got a number of things. Like I haven't done her sword, or I haven't really done too much on, like, this whole area is just primered. I haven't done any of her skirt thing or whatever that is. So yeah, it's a number of things I haven't finished. Haven't done her gloves or a lot of her armor, but she's getting there. Royce is a little further along, but Royce, his face is terrible. I don't like to show. His face is just badly molded. It's terrible. And then I haven't finished his goggles, but so he's in my camera. I don't know where the focus point is. Jeez, it's way up here. I didn't know it was that high. But so anyway, there's Royce kind of coming together. But I thought I'd get a little paint on my Death Walker, because she's I'm gonna get her to play. She and Royce are gonna go for it in the next attempt to build to defeat my 7th scenario that I have done terribly at so far. It's been an unhappy outing for the Royce and Adrian, because they can't beat this scenario. I blame the designers of the game. They made it too hard. All right, let me put it this way. I think Adrian is just too weak. The banner spear is not good. She just, too many limitations. Her movement's not good. She has to position so weird for all of her attacks. It's just, she's got too many things that make her difficult. I mean, look at the Drifter. He's got some big hits, big capabilities. He doesn't have to get in weird places either. He can just hit. I mean, out the gate, he's got attacks that can hit like 5 spots. And he doesn't need an ally to be standing in any particularly weird position. He's just better. Now granted, some of those might be one-shots. I don't know. I just glanced at his pieces, but as far as I can tell, he has so much more going for him than the Banner Spear. More cards too, so less likely to run out of cards. Of course, a lot of his cards are what do you call it, permaloss. But he gains abilities to avoid that permaloss, which is good. Yeah, there's just a lot going on. I don't know. Yes, but I almost beat the scenario with Royce and Adrian. Almost isn't the problem. I actually, with the Bone Shaper, one time we failed because I let the guys get to the middle. Because the Bone Shaper was sitting back too far. She's always injured. She's so small. And there, for something... So she's got all these abilities, right, to summon stuff, but every one of them hurts her, and she doesn't have but like 2 healing abilities. One will give her 1 health unless you can time it right when something died. So if you killed an enemy that turn, she can get a little extra. But it has proven very hard to guess what's going to happen. You pick the cards and hope that something will die, and then of course the enemy does something like shield up, which, like in this case, the big steel automations, they'll put their full shield on right when you're planning a big hit. You're like, all right, I got all my stuff ready. I'm going to do this big hit. Shield up, and they have 4 shield. There is between Adrian has nothing that can get through 4 shields. Nothing. I mean, not a single attack of hers will ever penetrate 4 shields. Unless she crits. The Banner Spear cannot get through 4 shields. Unless you got... Well, that's not true. She has 1 attack that can do piercing. Piercing 3, so she would still get reduced if she had it. But a lot of her attacks require her to be like have 1 ally on the opposite side. Of the opposite side of the enemy, which makes it even more difficult. Yeah, she has to long rest a lot. Now, on the upside, if she managed to cast some of her summons, but a lot of the things, like, she wants to do stuff for her summons, but she always moves really slow. The Bone Shaper moves really slow. She's got only a few. I mean, in the first few levels anyway. I don't know. She might have faster things later, but or at level 1 anyway. She doesn't have really any. She's got like what, one that's faster than 20. One initiative faster than 20, and then she's got I think 2 that are faster than 30 that are above that, and then she's got what else? Most of them are 70s or more. 70s, 80s, 90s. So she's pretty much always last, which is good, kind of. People say that it's like, one of the things that he said, well, it's because you don't want your summon to die on the turn you bring it in. I said, well, that's true. But if on the next turn you're still 70, 80, or 90, they're still going to get shot at before you get your turn. If they're going to be in range. If they're... And the problem with that is if you're only 2 characters... the targets are limited. So the Bone Shaper works good when she's got 4 friends or 3 friends on the table plus her summons, because there's more targets for things to shoot at that aren't including her. And since she's low on the target, low on the initiative, she's not going to get targeted a lot. But when there's only 2 characters, there's only the other character and herself, and then whatever her summons are. Unless they have summons, like the Banner Spear manages to get her banners out or something. But there's not that many other targets. So there's a good chance that you could still be the target. And your summons could be the target. So I was thinking, man, she does have the potential to be very cohesive with Adrian, with the Banner Spear. But she has to heal constantly. And she only has 2 things to heal. Now, on the upside, I suppose, if you're healing, you're low on the initiative, but again, with only 2 characters on the board, you could still get shot at. It's not a guarantee you're going to avoid being shot at. And if you give the other guys a chance to kill your even if you don't get shot at, your summons might. Your summons are only 3. And there's a lot of things that can kill them, right? It's these steel automations that are in this library. They hit hard. They do 3 and 4 damage when they attack. Even their range attack is, I don't know what they call it, like a mortar attack or some weird thing, is 3 damage, which is basically a one-shot kill on anything. You could get your little defense up that's for your summons. The next 3 times they're hit, they get to negate it. But you got to get all that stuff up, and she just has a lot of drawbacks. She's good. Those summons do help. They helped Adrian at times, They give you things to move and attack, but they still couldn't get into position. And you can't control the summons unless you do something to give them movement. So they do what they want. They're going to go after the closest guy. So you can't say, hey, come over here instead. But no, that's not an option. So yeah. Bone Shaper, I think the Bone Shaper will be better as she levels up, gets a few extra hit points. But this might not be the scenario to level her up. And with 2 people, it might be hard to level her up consistently. I don't know. So I'm going to try another one. My next attempt. I thought about doing it tonight, but then I thought, I need more painting to get more painting done. I haven't got enough painting done. So yeah, I we'll see. I'm going to try the Deathwalker, this one, and Royce next. I would like to win the scenario. Every scenario has to be won with either Adrian or Royce. So they're always going to be there until they retire. I'm hoping I can get Adrian to a point where she's able to start being more effective. I don't know. I got to figure out something that works with her. She might work okay with the Deathwalker too. But, the Deathwalker's got a lot of things that work kind of like summons. Those shadow things. And then she can summon stuff up into them. But she's only 6 hit points. But she doesn't have to hurt herself. She doesn't have to start off wounded right out the gate. So, I think they really did the Bone Shaper... they really hurt the Bone Shaper by it doing so much damage to itself that it's constantly in need of healing. So it can't keep casting these things without getting enough health up. I'm thinking after a couple of levels, she can do that more, right? Because they only cost 2 health, and if she's got 8 or 9 or 10, she's got a little bit more play, which is good. But you still got to get her up to that point. So she's not. It's going to be tough to get her up to that point because she has to get past the initial problem of these levels, these scenarios. This scenario, anyway, is kind of hard for her. Now, this is my 3rd thing of caffeine today. I hope that doesn't affect my sleep. They don't have, Kickstarts don't have that much caffeine, but they do have caffeine. What I should have done is brought water down here, then I wouldn't be drinking it, but I'm too lazy to go upstairs and get water. So, have you been playing the game with, how many characters are you playing with? Kickstart is, I think it's 60 milligrams, but for a 16-ounce can, that's not too bad. Caffeine content. 92. 92 for 16 ounces. So that's about a cup of coffee. But again, it's 16 ounces. A cup of coffee is what, 8, 9 ounces? So I get a lot more drink for my caffeine. A can of, it's about the same as a can of pop, but again, those are 12 ounces. So I'm getting more drink for the same caffeine. Unless it's a Mountain Dew, which is like, I don't know, what is it, 100, 110? But it's nothing like a Monster, which is like, what, 150? 180? So. Kickstarts also have less sugar. I've noticed that I can't drink regular pop anymore. I've gotten so used to drinking Kickstarts. When I drink a regular pop, it's just, oh, it's really sweet. I didn't realize how used to not drinking pop I've gotten. So I'm just trimming off the excess of the flex iron. I put this flex iron on the bottom of the figures so that I can put them in my in the X case. Because I put the magnetic base on the bottom of the X case, and it makes it so they stick to the case. Bone Shaper and Deathwalker. Wow, that's brave. Those are that's probably. I mean, that's an interesting thing. I mean, they're cool, but they have really low health. You got the 2 lowest health guys in the game. I thought I picked kind of a low. I didn't roll. Royce is like the 3rd lowest. I mean, he's not. I mean, between the Bone Shaper and the Deathwalker, both of them have 6. And those are some challenging characters too. I think all the characters have except for the Banner Spear and probably the Drifter. The Banner Spear and the Drifter are probably the 2 easy ones. I don't remember. There's 2 easy ones, 2 medium, 2 hard. Royce is a hard. The Geminate is supposed to be a hard. So what? Deathwalker and the Bone Shaper are the 2 middle ones, right? And Geminate's hard because you got a close-up guy, a fast guy. You got 2 different decks of 7. And you're going back and forth based on your playing it, so you got to really kind of predict what you're going to do on the next turn. And I can understand the coordination, and that's difficult. Royce is tough because he's got he's got initiative choices. You got to go low, got to go high. You're going to do it sometimes when you can go fast, you go slow because you're saving your fast. So there's a lot of that. And then you got the abilities, which throw me off every time because a lot of times I'll go slow and I think, oh, good, I could do this card. And I'm like, oh, I can't do that card because I can't use the abilities. And it's like, it's the abilities I want that come with fast. So, yeah, Royce is challenging. Playing Royce and the Gemini would be really tough, I bet, because it's just a lot of stuff to think about and get right. The Gemini's interesting. I might play it sometime. I don't feel like he's... So you're playing with your wife. So you're playing... What level are you guys? At level 4, you're probably, what, level 2s by now? or you're probably level 2 after 4, right? Because after. So how did you get to 4? Did you get there by going way of 2 or way of 3? Which way did you guys go? Did you follow the scouts, or did you follow the, I don't know, whatever it was, the hunting party or whatever? Do you have the oh, go ahead. I don't. I was going to wait for your answer before I ask any more questions. I probably should. The back way. The back way I thought was 2. I don't know. Do you have the? Did you go up the cliff? Did you come up? Did you go up the cliff? Rather, how did you get? How did you get to the level 4? Did you come down through a hole, or did you come through the front door? Because the back way, I think you come in, you go down through the hole to get to level 4. And you have, and you might, and you have one of the, what do they call it? Algox people with you. Oh, okay. So you have the Algox priest or whatever with you then. Yeah, that's the way I went. Right. You can't let her die. Yeah. Or at least not in that area. When you get to, so you're in 4. You haven't played 4 yet then, right? You're going there next. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see. Now, I have you lost any scenarios yet? Now, as a solo player, here's the. I basically am one. I have to play the scenarios at least I, at least until my group gets to be level 3. I am playing the scenarios one level more difficult than playing a 2 people. 2 characters solo is one level harder than 2 characters as 2 people. Um, that's just the way they set it up. Until and it's only like a 0.5 difference, but because it rounds up, you're actually playing a harder level every time until you get to level 3. Once your characters are level 3, it's the same as 2 people, at least until you get to level. One of your guys gets to level 4, it jumps up again. But yeah, I'm typically playing a little bit harder, unless you guys are ramping it up. But I really would not recommend that. It's hard enough, I think. Oh, you play level 0. Oh, okay. So you actually lower the difficulty even more so. Yeah, see, I haven't. I've been stubborn. I keep saying the rules say I should be able to beat this. It's like I refuse to. If the rules say it can happen, I should be able to do it. So I keep trying. I haven't. I mean, I know there's people who've played it, and I know there's people who've beat the scenarios that I've played. I don't know who they've been beating it with. I haven't heard from anybody who said, "Hey, I beat this with the banner spear and the blink blade or the banner spear and anything." I think the banner spear. If you play with the drifter, I think the drifter's easy. I have never played the drifter, but I could tell you, looking at his cards, he looks like he'd make scenarios easy or easier. Okay, I won't say easy because these scenarios are hard. Some of them were, but I have lost every scenario. I mean, I come back and win it. I mean, this is the first time I've won a few of them in two tries. Well, not every scenario. I did not lose session 0. So no, I'm not that bad. Nobody. I hope nobody loses session 0. I'm thinking at level 0. Did I say session 0? Scenario 0. But at level 0, you should be able to go through it pretty good, I'd imagine. So that helps a lot. I think you might have to drop with those two characters, especially at level 1 and only 6 health points. I think you kind of almost have to. I just think there's too many chances of a death blow when you're that small. Maybe once you level up a little, you can start bringing the level up with you. If you start getting good at your characters and they've got some health points to take a few bumps and you kind of really got some gelling going, I think it'll be interesting. You'll have to let me know how that goes when you guys start getting to level 3, 4, 5, and onward. All right, that's enough of that. Let's get some paint on this. Now, I'm not sure the best way. I kind of like to primer her because I don't think these figures are designed for being painted. They're not pre-primed. Bones figures by Reaper that are just, they're minis that are designed for this stuff. Should I primer her black? Black would make it super simple. I like to do, you know what? Let's try this. Yeah, see, that's the problem with playing level 0. It's going to take a while to level up. You don't get, you don't get as much bonus experience at the end of the level. So you're still level 1. You'll probably level up by the time you get past 4, though. I would think, even with that, because you're probably getting more of the in round experience, right? Because you live, since you're living longer, you're able to fire off more of those experience builders. I would think. I don't know, maybe not. But so one guy was telling me you should be getting 15 to 20 turns, and I'm like, I have never gotten 15 or more than 15 rounds. I think I've gotten 15 exactly a couple of times, but at least with Royce and Adrian, I almost always end up having to, I die or exhaust by about somewhere between 12 and 15, or at least I know, it's going to be maybe 13 to 15 before I die. Huh. That's interesting. So basically you both get 1.5 characters. Yeah, that might work. Now, do you guys play Perfect Information? Now, it's really, you know what Perfect Information is, right? That's like the book says you shouldn't use Perfect Information. That's a solo play thing. Because solo play, you can't help it, right? Because you know exactly what the other person's thinking. It's exact. So it's called Perfect Information. You know everything about the move. The solo play, or the Perfect Information for 2 players, is you essentially tell each other. You literally look at each other's deck and kind of go, okay, well, if you do that, I'll do this, and you do 3 points of damage, and I'll do 4 points, and we'll kill it. Well, assuming everything goes well. But I don't know. Some people, you can play that. Really, they can't stop you, and they call it a variant, but in reality, they can't stop you. But they say if you really want to have the feeling of 2 people adventuring, you don't have Perfect Information, because in a real fight, you don't know how much damage you're going to do, for one thing. Second, you also don't know, you can't stop and ask your opponent what they're going to do. Somebody might yell out. So basically, what you can talk to people. You just can't say, I have a 3 damage attack. I'm planning to do 3 damage to that guy. But I also have piercing. If you can do a wound, we'll kill him. That kind of thing. That's a little too precise. They say, oh, I'm planning to hit him pretty hard in the middle of the round. Or I'm planning to go early in the round. But you can't say, I'm going to have initiative 17. If you can just make sure you go after that, we'll be good. Or, I'm going to go, I need to do initiative 25. Can you go slower than me or faster than me so I can try to take advantage of positioning? So that's Perfect Information. That's knowing too much details. You could just say, I'm planning to go fairly quickly, but you can't say perfect information. Oh, that's good. That's good. I think that's the best way to play. If I was playing with someone else, I wouldn't do it either. But this is also why they level up a solo player, because they assume, well, you have perfect information, so you're going to be able to coordinate perfectly. Well, maybe. If the deck doesn't hate your guts, you'll be able to coordinate perfectly. My deck hates my guts. When I draw, I always draw like, all right, any hit, any damage I do right here will be good. Null. It's like, null. The one thing I didn't need. -2. No! Because on this one I'm doing, the library, and what I've gone to doing with my scenarios now is I don't tell people the number. Okay? So I've even relabeled all the ones I had. So I might say the name, but so in other words, you won't know if you're watching my streams. You won't know where that is unless you've watched all the way through. You know, you've watched all of the streams, or if you have been there before, or if you just arrive, you might go, "Oh, this is where he's at," you know, because you've been there. I'm trying to do that so that people don't know that if I go to 26, oh, that's the same one that he did. He did 26 last week. No, I'm trying to avoid doing that. So the further I get into the game, the harder it'll be to tell where I'm at if people are just watching new. Yeah, it's a little less spoilery. It's not a guarantee. So what I say on there, like I'm playing my 7th scenario, but that's my 7th scenario. That's not the 7th scenario. Right. And one of the 7, you both get 2 deck, or each of you would get a deck, and one of you would basically be playing whenever the other person flipped the switch. So you can't control when you can control when you flip, but like you'll play a card that has change to the other form, and then that person would play the next turn. And one of them is range and one of them is melee. So you got to consider, if you're range, you got to be close enough for the other person to do something when they're melee, or you know, don't get yourself trapped as a melee person so that the range person has to fire at disadvantage, you know, that kind of thing. So you got to kind of plan out a little bit on how that's going to work. Hopefully this is not too loud so you're able to hear me. Eek, I know I cleaned this, but it looks kind of dirty in there. Well, I don't know. It's not as clean as I would like. It feels a little sticky. I mean, it's clean in the front, but I don't know. I may have to do a little maintenance. I don't like doing maintenance on these. It takes too long. But kind of annoying. But where's my pot? Yeah, it's a little hummy. Little hummy. I don't usually use this too much, and I try to clean it out pretty good between uses, but this one seemed a little... Obviously, I did not clean it as good as I thought. I may have not cleaned it well enough. So yeah, I'm hoping I'll get this figured out at some point. I I'm a little disappointed that they made it so hard that you can't play with any character you want under the guise of playing the base rules. They say, "Oh, you're welcome to make the game harder by upping the level," and dude, you made it so hard that I can't even play it at the level you tell me to play it, much less hard. I want to see somebody play solo at level 3 on this scenario and tell me they won. Even with the drifter, I bet you that'd be hard. I can't imagine, but I don't know. Somebody will do it because, like, I used to play XCOM on the computer. I liked XCOM 1 and 2. I played them both, and I beat them, and they're fun. I love tactical video games. I like the RPGs too, but the tactical games are pretty fun. So one of the things I've noticed though is with those, it's kind of an interesting, I don't know, a strategy, I guess, as it is, to play it through. But I'll see somebody go out there. I'll go watch on YouTube. I'll see somebody going like, "Oh yeah, I'm going all through this speed run, and I'm gonna play it the hardest possible scenario." Yeah, so you played 0, 1, 2, and 4, right? And then you're gonna play 5. Yeah, so that's about. So I know what that one is. Well, I don't know what that one is. I guess it depends on where you decided to go. You had like 4 choices, right? You could go help. You could go do more Algox. You could go check out robots, or you can go look at the crab thing. So you have. Well, that's 3 choices. I guess that's not 4. Well, I better get on the ball so I can stay ahead of you. Of course, if you're going a different direction, what's it matter? But oh, you skipped 0. Oh, yeah, it had decent loot. That's for sure. For such an easy scenario, it did have decent loot. It wasn't like, it wasn't like you had to have. I mean, loot. Like, for example, I'm glad I got it because, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, ultimately, oh, jeez. Ultimately, it's not that much. I mean, you get a lot. You get loot pretty good if you're picking loot up. And if you're playing level 0, you're probably able to pick up the loot. So yeah, but the biggest, I mean, obviously if you up the difficulty, it's going to make it more difficult to get your loot, but you're able to get your loot now, and the scenarios don't change the amount of loot for your level, so you're probably getting a lot more loot than, because people who play the game harder can't really go after all the loot. Like me, I'm having a hard time going after loot. I mean, there's a couple of scenarios where I was able to go after it, but I have not been able to focus on loot. Like this scenario, I'm not going to get most of the loot because I just don't have time. 2 characters going into the scenario I'm doing, I can't find time to do the loot. It's too much. I have not figured out how to even how to even win, much less worry about the loot. So there's that unfortunate problem. So I don't get as much loot. I do get more. I do get more experience though, which is a good thing. This is a delay for sure in my progress. Gosh, I really thought, it's so weird, because it's not like me to not clean this out, but no one else uses it but me, so I must have been spacing it when I put this away last time. Heck, I usually clean it out every time I take paint out of it, even, so it's weird. Yuck. Yep, it's definitely not. That's okay to have a little bit in the bottom of the pot, but it's not good to have it in under the needle. Yeah, considering how easy level 0 or session 0 was, it is a nice little. But you know, I haven't been finding, if you're playing with the same two characters, you're not constantly changing characters. I'm finding that loot is not that big. I mean, you get enough of it. I mean, of course, I'm playing on a harder level, but it doesn't change the amount of loot that's available. And I've had no problem. I mean, it's like if I wanted to build something, I've always had what I needed for crafting and stuff. So, I don't know. I think you're probably okay. All right, well, that looks pretty good. The front really wasn't that dirty. It was just like the middle spot. So we'll see here. This is an Eclipse airbrush. This is supposed to be a good one. I am not an airbrush guy. Like I said, I've done a few, but I've never painted a full figure. I've seen guys who are so good with these things. I've been watching them on. I've watched a couple of them on YouTube and stuff, and they can paint like the stuff you would paint with a paintbrush, and it's just smoother looking. With an airbrush, it's so smooth and looks so good, and I'm like, wow, I'm jealous. But yeah, I don't. I am not that guy. See, this is like sparkly clean in here, so I did clean that out. I don't know what the heck. What the heck? Do I not know what I'm doing here? I really gotta stop trying to do this with these on. That's what's throwing me off. It's providing the light I need, but it's screwing me up. It's like I can't see what I'm doing. It's like magnifying glasses are not meant for normal wear. They are, in fact, definitely not meant for normal wear. See, now I don't have any light. I feel like I'm missing something. I don't know. Hope not. You do anything for the Super Bowl tomorrow? Are you a football fan? I am a football fan. I am not a fan of either of these teams, mind you. It's like, but I am a football fan. So I'm going to have a Super Bowl party with some friends and family. I don't know which family is going to show up. All my family will be there, my immediate family, but I don't know about like I invited my brothers and parents, but I don't know. All right, let's see if this works. It's, at least my brush is moving again smoothly and doing its thing. Don't know. I feel like something's wonky here though. Oh, there is something wonky here. What the heck? Uh-oh. Aha! I knew something was wonky. Can't tell if that's clean or not. So this is a little piece. I don't like taking this apart. It's too many pieces, but I knew there was something weird going on. Traditional? What do you mean by traditional? You mean like there's like other sports, other kind, like lesser known sports that you like to follow? Volleyball, badminton, hockey. I mean, hockey, I guess. Hockey is a traditional sport, I suppose. Uh, Racquetball, pickleball. Those would be less traditional, for sure. I gotta go. Hold on just a minute. I'm just gonna be in the back of the room here. So my painting session has been interrupted by my, like this is the deal. You use airbrush, use an airbrush for the specific reason of saving time. Notice how I emphasize saving time while, when you do a particular job. I mean, that's why you do it. It's supposed to be a little faster for this, that, or the other thing. And look at me. Look at what I'm doing right now. This is not saving time. I could have almost had it fully painted at this point. Esports. You don't really think those are sports, right? I mean, you just call them that because you like to watch the games that they play. My sons watch esports. But no, I am of the crowd that I don't believe. I mean, hey, look, I understand a good competition between two two MOBA guys, MOBA teams as much as anybody. I mean, I think I'm impressed. They're good players. They're not sporters. They're not athletes. Yes, I know some of them are in good shape. I'll grant them that. But they are not athletes. I'm sorry. I'm that guy. Sorry. I have to apologize because I know some people get really touchy about it. But it's not. But again, I understand the category, and I know I just had to throw my 2 cents in there. My unwanted 2 cents. You don't need my stinking 2 cents. But I like boxing too. I've actually, but I'm not as into it as I used to be. A lot of the guys I used to like watching, they've long since retired. The When I was younger, I used to like watching a lot of boxing. I don't know who a lot of the best fighters are now. Kind of, I kind of the last boxer I was at all interested in watching was, now at the time of Laila Ali, because I was interested because hey, she's Muhammad Ali's daughter and she's actually doing pretty good. I don't think she ever got to be as I don't know. I think she did win a championship, but I don't think she was like great. Okay, so I've lost a piece already. It's like, uh-oh. Wait, did I? Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, no. I have all the pieces here. What am I? All right. Now let's try this out. Now that I've put it together correctly. Okay. Well, yeah, I can see that. Bodybuilding, again, like bodybuilding and golf. But the thing is, it's like bowling. Is bowling a sport? See, those are borderlines, right? Bowling, bodybuilding, uh, golf, because the amount of physical activity is minimal. Oh, well, okay, that's not true. Bodybuilding is very physical, but you're not really. It's like you're competing against yourself and showing off the results to other people, right? So the competition is how good are you at competing against yourself, and then how good are you at modeling it. Um, so I'd have to give bodybuilders the nod for athletic because it's a very physical thing, and sports are very much it's all about the physical competition. But it's close because, like you said, they're not really competing against the other people, but they have to do very physical work to win their competition. And then there's like golf, which again, it's a very technical sport, kind of like bowling, where it's more. I mean, it's more about the technical skill than it is about the physicality. Yes, you need to be kind of strong to be a good driver, but the a lot the best golfers in the world aren't necessarily the best drivers in the world, right? I may have made it too thin. I may have made it too thin. And then bowling, it's just throwing a ball, right? Yes, it's physical, but I mean, swing the arm. It's very technical. Bowling is about as technical as a sport can be, and it's there's some strength in it, but you don't even have to be in that great a shape. I mean, you can be pretty out of shape to be a great bowler. I mean, I've seen some guys that look like Babe Ruth, who was playing baseball. So yeah, there's some borderline-isms on what a sport is. I mean, I guess you have to ask yourself, is sport about the physicality, or is it about the competition? And if you feel it's more about the competition, then esports count, because, well, there's that. I think sports are more about the physicality of competition. So it's anything where it requires a physical effort You do not want to see how I'm doing this, because I'm also breaking a lot of rules. I'll tell you, you could probably guess what I'm doing wrong right now. Probably wouldn't be too hard to guess what I'm doing wrong right now. Yeah, it's direct physical competition, and I think that's why it's some sports are debatable, but like bowling is head to head. You're exerting your physical prowess, your physical skills, to win. It requires your physicality to win, and so that's why bodybuilding. I can see your logic in that it's not your physicality is already done. You've already done the work. All you're doing is showing off the results. You went and did that by yourself in the gym, and you weren't really competing. Now, weightlifting competitions, that's definitely in that same category. You go out there and you both bench who can lift the most, or who can squat the most, or whatever they're doing, which I think squatting competitions are stupid. Don't ever get me started on that. I think challenging people to lift more than they've ever lifted before in their lives constantly, those are the people who end up with back problems. It's just too much stress on your back, and don't do it. I work out all the time. You may not know, I actually do a streaming, I stream my workouts in the morning. I work out multiple days a week, and I'll stream those. I don't stream them on this channel. I have another channel that I do that on. But so I talk a little bit about it. I'm not, again, it's no better, it's a mobile one. I usually do it at the gym, so it's very low key quality and stuff. But I talk to people and give them my opinions on certain exercises and stuff. But anyway, I have some pretty strong opinions about some exercises. Now, I will agree that those are good exercises if you're doing them correctly and you're not overdoing it. But most people do not do them. People who don't know better almost always do those wrong. It's just the way of things. Yeah, I do them under striving to be Superman. That's my my other stream. I don't do all of them. Like I'll do like aerobic workouts, and I don't always do those. Like if I'm running on the treadmill, or I have a hard time knowing. For one, talking while you're doing cardio is kind of hard to do. Especially if you're working. If you're actually doing the workout, which I am, it's hard to talk. So, yeah. But, yeah, I do have a number of things like that. Anyway, I do squats, but I do them at pretty light weights. I do them at lighter weights than I can do. I mean, I've squatted as much as 280 or whatever, which really is pretty light for legs. But I could probably do 300, and I rarely even do over 200 as it is. I might do 205, 210, because I just don't trust it. I don't like. I've actually strained my back before trying to do like deadlift and squats, and I'm like, why am I torturing myself this way? Risking your health for that is not. It's just not worth it. There's just too many other options. You know, you can do safer leg exercises and safer things, and it's like, why even risk it? Because one little tweak that's wrong, and you're gonna hurt something. So I say, don't do it. Oh yeah, strength and conditioning, nice. Well then you know your stuff as far as that stuff goes. And me, no, I'm not trained, other than the fact that I've been working out for a gajillion years. My training is just doing. You know, I learn which things. I've learned not only by watching other people and learning from them, the professionals, but I've also done. I just, I find the old saying, "If it hurts, don't do it." So if you're doing something, you're either doing it wrong, or maybe, just maybe, that particular lift is not a good lift. If it's causing pain, I'm very conscientious about trying to do things the right form. Back straight, core tight. The basic things that you have to do to make sure you don't injure yourself. But some exercises, you go home and you're like, why is this causing me so much pain? Like, say for example, the bench press. That's another one that I'm like, the bench press is an excellent workout, but too many people, I think, go too deep on the bench press. I don't think, unless you've got one of those massive chests that sticks out to here, you shouldn't be bouncing it off your chest. Unless you do really low. If you're going to do it really low, okay, maybe. If you're doing a low chest, and I've seen a couple of, like Jeff, then you probably know who Jeff Cavalier is, if you know a little bit about strength stuff. Jeff Cavalier does a lot of YouTube videos. He's like a kind of an industry known expert pro guy. He does Athlete on X, and he's a very knowledgeable guy. At least I feel like he is. And so I've read it, I've watched his stuff, I've watched other people's stuff, and I kind of like to refer to him a little bit because I think he's smart enough, but he also says that you should do lower chest press when you're doing a bench press. It shouldn't be, you don't want to be too high because it puts a lot of stress on your shoulders. Like if you're like way up here and you're doing this bit, and that's like a lot of stress on your shoulders because it's going back farther than it should when you're bouncing off your chest. If you're doing them low, it's a more natural thing. Like it doesn't hurt one's shoulders to put your arm way down here and hitting it off the lower part of your chest. So a lot of guys are like bouncing it off up here, and it's just stressing your shoulder. And I'm like, why do you? So if you're going to do a wide chest, which makes it hard to do it low, you got to stop. Think about, my thought is, you got to think about it like you're lying on the floor. If your arm hits the ground, that's as far as you go. So yeah, you can't go as low, but that's fine. You don't need to go as low. And people go, well, you need to have that full range of motion. Well, do you? Why do you have to be able to go back here? Look, if you're getting smashed in a garbage compactor and there's a lizard coming after you, if you've let the walls get close enough or your arms have to go this far back, you're dead. What's the matter? You're already dead. So you're not going to get out of there unless somebody stops it and lets you out the door. So you know what I'm referring to. I know you do. But anyway, so yeah, see, that's good. And I try to do that too. But I've had too many shoulder problems in my life. I've done stuff to my shoulders that my shoulders don't appreciate. like playing tackle football with friends. Um, and friends that weigh 250 pounds. You know, so when you do that, and you crack a collarbone a few times and sprain your rotator cuff a few times, you start having shoulder problems. And I did this, years ago. So it's not age; it's me beating up on my body. Too many people accuse age of being the reason why they have problems. I don't think it's age's fault. It's the things you do throughout your life. That's the problem. Poor form, poor fitness. Those are the things that break you, not your age. I think I've seen plenty of people who are in their 20s and 30s that have done stuff that hurt their back or hurt their arms or hurt their shoulders. Plenty of athletes have done the damage, and they're young enough. It's not age. It's they did something to their bodies. They got hit bad or hit wrong or age. Age, really, the people who are out of shape when they're older, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is, and the most likely one, is as they got older, they did less. You do less, you get weaker. You get weaker, you have... Now, there are things that can happen as you get older, but it's not really necessarily older. You can have a low T count in your 20s and 30s, too. Not as common, but it's possible. And that can result in weaker, lower ability to gain muscle mass, and have problems. So you have to keep an eye on that stuff. So sometimes you have to, like I actually have kind of I have the problem of a low T count. Yeah, I know. I've had that for 10 years though, so I'm not. You're just seeing the top of my head, which is my bald head, which is my, great to see that, but sorry. I have a camera too low for my bending over while doing this. This is, I watered down my primer way too much. I mean, it's working, but it's not working great. It's going to be really thin, so I don't know how good a surface it's going to provide. But yeah, when I talk, I always talk from the basis of trying to let people know that there are better exercises and there's optional exercises, and I learn them from other people. I'm not, again, I don't claim to be, all knowing. I'm not. I always tell people, look, what you get from me is experience, not training. And I do learn from people, but that's it. So that's what you're going to get from me. All right, well, I got some primer on these guys, but probably not the right amount because I didn't, I kind of overdid the, who else have I got? Who else is over here? Oh, yeah, her. I'll put an extra drop of primer in this one. See if I can get a better mix going. Oh, good. I guess I don't have to feel too bad. I don't feel bad because I shave my head. I'm not totally bald. I'm probably 25%, 30%. I don't know, but it's enough that I say, well, why bother? I don't feel like I'm okay with it. I actually shaved my head. I actually started shaving my head before I lost my hair because I went into the military, and so one of the things I did is say I'm going to get used to having my head shaved. So I decided to cut my hair short, and then for the last 8 weeks before I went into basic training, I started shaving my head pretty short, like down to military size. I just started getting used to it, and Anyway, so I went into the military and I said, well, you know what? I'm just gonna shave it all off. So I started when I got back from the military. I said, I'm just gonna shave it off. I didn't mind it. I says, I don't know if I like it short, but I also like it. I like it. I'm gonna try it bald, just see what it looks like. And I shaved it. I'm like, this ain't so bad. I can live with this. So I started doing that, and then I let it grow out one time, and I'm like, oh, I think I have a receding hairline. I think I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna keep doing it. I was in the army, but I didn't go. I was mostly reservist. I was only in for like 3 years. I moved out of the location that was close to my close to a what do you call it, fort or whatever, base location for training. And so I decided to if you get more than 200 miles or 100 miles away from a base or whatever, they'll discharge you. I mean, if you live somewhere that wasn't, and they couldn't find a unit for me, so I got discharged when I moved. So I only did like 3 years. It was one of those 2-6 things where you do 2 years of active reservist and then 6 years of not. But I don't know. It was weird. So I barely served, but I was what do you call it, 71 Lima, something like that. I was basically an administrative person, but I was on a chemical recon team, and we got called up to go to Iraq. And we were going to go to Iraq. We were packing up. We were supposed to leave literally the next day, and we got a notice that they called a ceasefire and they were canceling our deployment. That was the first Iraq war. So I guess that's good, right? It's weird because we were trained up. We were trained to basically go and look for evidence of chemicals in chemical wars or chemical I don't know, chemical distribution. I don't know what the term is. In an area, so we'd all go in there in our hazmat suits and do tests and searches to find out if there was any chemicals used in that area. So yeah, that was fun. I don't know how fun it would have been in reality, but that's what we were trained for. Basically, I handled the paperwork. It wasn't an impressive. It's not like, hey, I went in as I was a sniper, man. I was it 51 Bravo or whatever it is, the guys that get down in the dirt and actually do the work. It wasn't me. I mean, I did work, but it wasn't. Yeah, even nowadays, people will have say, "Oh, veterans, stand up so we can give you a round of applause." I don't even like to stand up. I feel like so many people did so much more over there. I don't feel like a veteran. I feel like it's like, yeah, I was in, but I didn't do nothing. So many people did so much more. They put their lives on the line. I wasn't that guy. And yes, if I had gone, maybe I'd have a different opinion, but I didn't actually go. So, yeah. I guess I was ready to go. People keep saying, "Oh, you were ready to go at least." You would have gone if they had called you. Yeah, I know, but I didn't, and therefore I don't feel as people talk about they're going to war, and they talk about all of the torment they went through. I'm like, dude, I'm not even in your class. It's kind of like competing, You say, I play a little chess, and then you talk to the guy who's a grandmaster. It's like, I shouldn't even be talking to you, man. I'm not even worth of. yeah, I have a 1300 rating. I'm better than the guy who's never played before, and maybe the guy who's only played for a year. But I, I, I'm not a grandmaster. I'm not in your ballpark, man. So 4 years. See, you were in longer than me. You probably did more than I did. You probably actually did something there, huh? Well, right. You know, I had a chance to go to Germany for one of my ATs. Forgot what happened. I blame my wife, but I don't think it was her. Uh, or something. Something blocked me from going. I mean, it was just they were going to go, and they wanted to know if I could go, and it was kind of voluntary. But I said, eh. But something ended up not. But I always tell her it was her fault. It wasn't her. You know, AT was only 2 weeks or whatever, and it might have been maybe that's what it was. I think I was working, and it was going to be more than 2 weeks going to Germany. I think it was going to be like a month or something, and I couldn't really go because work would have been kind of screwed up. So, I mean, plus when looking back at it, the original Iraq War, for most of the U.S. military anyway, wasn't really that dangerous. I mean, very few people got. In fact, I think we lost more people in what do you call it, friendly fire accidents than we did from the actual Iraqis. It didn't. You know, it wasn't. It really wasn't the most dangerous thing that they did. So what I'm trying to do with these is trying to do a zenithal prime. Now I'm breaking rules. I shouldn't be doing this. What rule am I breaking, you say? I really shouldn't be. I shouldn't be airbrushing without a mask on. You don't want to be. I mean, the stuff is technically not toxic, but it is still not something you want to keep breathing in. I don't have a really good mask. I have the cheapy little. Well, I thought I had the cheapy little N61 or N whatever the small little masks you get, the cheap ones. But and my Bronco mask. I don't know if I want to use that though. But it's better than nothing. Very many what? Just I don't think. It's hot in here. Alexa, turn off heater. This mask. So hopefully I'm not muffled too much. And it's not the greatest mask. I should be using like one of those. You see some of these online painters that are painting with their face masks. They got the the big old gas mask things around their face, and that's good. It's the safest way to be, but I don't own one of those, so not gonna wear one. I probably should buy one, but you know, I don't airbrush. If I airbrushed all the time, and this was kind of my thing, I would do it. I'd wear one more often. Oh. I'm such an amateur at this. I feel amateurish. I can't, I'm sorry, I can't really get the camera down. It's going to be blurry. I need to keep her down here because I need to do a downward spray. Alright, well, we'll see if that works. So, this is how you're supposed to spray for zenithal highlighting. You do it from the bottom and do it from the top. So he looks pretty gray from the top, and from the bottom he looks black. And that's like when you do the actual painting. If you use like inks or thin enough paints, it'll cover up the colors in a way that kind of leaves you with some shadowing right out the gate. Shadowing and highlights, because the lighter colors will be on top and the darker colors will be on the bottom. That's the theory. It works pretty good if you have good paints for it, so hopefully I do. I don't do it enough. I'm trying to do it more often. I'm not actually sure which way is the best way to do it. If you're supposed to do black first or uh, or white first. I'm sure there's probably a preference, a preferred way to do it. Okay. But if you're doing this kind of painting, it's gonna just have to practice, I guess. Figure out what works for you. Ultimately, you just want to make sure it gets covered, right? Even if it's not perfect, the idea is to get the prime on. I mean, oops. I mean, you just want to get the prime on there, because if nothing else, that's the main goal, is to get primed. That one probably could have done better. It's mostly black, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not an expert at this, this whole technique. And to be honest, it is quite difficult to get this on, especially when you're talking about getting their feet, right? Because the feet are like underneath the base. How do you spray the bottom parts underneath the base? That's not easy. Alright, what am I missing? Oh yeah, this character. Why not? I don't even know why I got her in my highlights or on my to be painted zone, but she's here now. I'm gonna paint her now. Who else? Who else wants to be painted? Who else wants to get paint on them? Should I paint put some on Batman. I've just got some paint here. I'm just using it. I'm gonna put some on Batman. Batman. You want to be Batman's sidekick? Oh, this guy's heavy. I want to be dropping him, but. Who else? Anybody else want to get some paint on him? I don't have much paint left. Actually, I don't. It's actually gone, so that's good enough for now. I've got enough guys that got paint on them that I can possibly get started. This stuff is potent, man. Gonna get some, go back to the brush now. I could do some basing with this. I gotta figure out who wants to be based. Who's big enough to care about being based with a paintbrush? I got that big bear guy. Yeah, he should be based. Should do him. Nope, I can see pretty much everything. Did I miss something? No. I mean the most recent messages, but I got a big chat screen. I've got like the last 20 on there, last 25. So, and I'm not popular enough that I've got crazy amounts of messages going up and down the board. So, I'm okay. I've got, maybe, I get a couple hundred more followers, then it could be crazy. I've seen some of these people who've got these streams going, and they're like, just constant, and it's like how do they follow? They only catch a few of them. They scan through, try to answer questions or whatever, but they're constantly under missing stuff, and it's not, what can you do when you're that popular? But I don't have that problem. Haha. Nah. Maybe one of these days, play enough Frosthaven, people will. I'll have more conversations going at once. So I'm gonna try it, and let's see what is. No, I don't want to do that one. Where's the? Should I try Werewolf Brown? I was gonna do Werewolf Brown before, so these paints should be ready to go. I shouldn't have to do anything special for these. Let's see if that's true. This don't look brown at all. Am I sure that's Werewolf Brown and not Werewolf Gray? It says brown. Okay. Not looking very brown to me. Looks kind of gray. Guess if worst comes to worst, I have to spray them with other stuff. My airbrush is starting to act up. Yeah, my airbrush is not. It's like it's coming out, but it's not as fluid as I'd like. So when you plug it up like that, if they're violent bubbles, like they're splatting out at you when the bubbles come up and they pop, if they're violent bubbles, it's too, your paint's too thick. It should be able to bubble up without popping and blowing up paint everywhere. It's like I'm getting these little splashes, so that's how I knew my paint's a little thick. I don't think your bubble should be violent. If they're just like normal little trickle bubbles, then you're probably better off. So you get a lot of little ones, and they're not exploding all over the place, then you're probably pretty good. That's my non-scientific. I use a lot of different paints, but for brushing, I like Vallejo. I don't have a lot of airbrush. See, look, still having trouble coming out. Oh, here we go. Here. So this paint is scale 75, and it's kind of like a contrast paint. It's an ink, but inks are kind of like they're kind of like a watered high pigment water. They're very thin, in other words. They're almost translucent too. Now, I wouldn't pretend to tell you that I'm an expert in this stuff. My character here is implying that he's not well primed. But this one is a scale 75, like contrast paint, I think. I'll have to look. Can't look at the moment, but. Now technically, contrast paints and inks are not supposed to require, they're supposed to be airbrush ready. I mean, usually they're that thin. So you don't have to do anything with them to get them to go through an airbrush. This one, obviously, I needed a little water. Now, As you can see, I'm painting the whole guy. This is a base coat. I am not precise enough to be able to paint a guy all with an airbrush. I don't have that kind of touch or understanding of how to use the airbrush. It takes a lot of talent to be able to paint a guy fully with an airbrush. I am a hobby painter, not a career one. I do this just because I like doing it, not because I'm good at it. I'm not terrible. I'm not. I mean, I'm not gonna like say, oh, you know, I'm the worst or whatever. I don't. But there are people that are just naturally gifted in this area, you know. And I say naturally, as in they show up one day and go, oh, I think I'm gonna paint, and it comes out like something I would do in 10 years if I did this 8 hours a day. Assuming I would ever get that good at all. I won't ever paint that much, so I'll never know. But yeah, tip drying is pretty common if your paint's too thick. It's definitely a problem of mine too. I hit that a lot. This guy's not really balanced. He doesn't stand up on his own. Which is kind of a thing. I'll have to put him on a base eventually. Alright, well, he's fully brown. At least until I get around to doing his details and starting to bring his colors out. Don't know where to put him though, because I'm running out of spaces to put guys. So it's time to clean this out. What time is it? 10:10. I got a little bit of time. I'm going to try to get a little bit of paintbrush on my Frosthaven guys again. Now that I've got them primed, hopefully they've dried enough to do something here. Let's throw a little thinner in there just to make sure it goes out clean. Alright. Oh, the fun of hairbrushes. You gotta do like a lot of guys at once, so you're not gonna get any. Oh, you know what? I should have done shoot. Oh well, too late. So, with the bone shaper, I want to. The bone shaper, I want to paint skeletons and actually use skeletons, not just those little stand-up minis. I have plenty of skeletons to use. If you ever want to watch a couple of talented guys, Squidmar does some cool stuff. It's not just his painting. He doesn't even show all of his painting, but he does some cool things. He does like dioramas, and they'll do some highlight painting. He does mostly videos. Okay, so Squidmar's really good, but his are videos. There's a guy called Miniac who does a lot of videos too. Now he's a really good painter, and he does live stuff on Twitch too. I don't know if he does live on YouTube, but he does live on Twitch. He's good. And he actually does a lot of videos on how to paint. And he's good enough to do that. I would never tell people necessarily. I tell people what I've been told. What I've learned from watching other people. But I don't pretend to be an expert. So if you want expert advice, there's better people. Well, looks clean. Hopefully it'll be clean when I use it next time. So let's actually put this over there because that'll bug me. Okay, what time is it? 10:15. I got about 15-20 minutes. So when did you get your copy? You said you got yours just in recently? You said you did your 4th episode, so you must have just got it in the last, couple weeks? Well, actually, you told me, didn't you? You said you just got your copy and you guys have been playing. So is your wife a big gamer? She likes to game frequently? Well, let's hope I got enough paint on this chick. All right, let's get something on her. Let's do something boring. Let's do the ground. We'll do the ground first. Let's put some. She's a bone shaper. Ground should probably be. I mean, really, the ground here should all be frost. Everybody should have snow, snowy bases. But hold on, to put it right on here. What is this? Do I even have? Yeah, this is rust brown. I don't know if I want rust brown. Let's go with a different. Let's go with more of a green ochre. Boo. Nope. I got too many paints out. That's my problem. I tend to get paints out and not put them away until it's like, oh, I need to clear my desk. Problem is I close some of my cases. So when I close them, I'm like, oh, I have to open it again. Just being lazy. I should just open them. Then I could put stuff away. Look at that. How easy it is to put stuff away, Ken? It is possible. I don't need this anymore. I can breathe again and take a drink. I got to get up early tomorrow and do my workout. I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow. It's an at-home workout, so it'll probably be cardio, bike or run or both. And so my thing on when I do my workouts online is to do other people's workouts. Now, I don't do them all the time. I often will do my own, but I like to either purchase like an Athlete on X workout, or like I have some I do like what I call Google's best, and I do a search for like the best upper body workout, and then I'll do the workout and say, kind of give my opinions of throughout. I don't like this exercise. I mean, I'm going to do it for the workout, or this exercise has this benefit or that benefit to me. Sometimes, and then I also try to do them like at the gym. Not all these workouts are always doable at the gym. The gym, surprisingly enough, for certain types of workouts, like they'll have these workouts where you have to use bands or a lifting belt, or, if your gym doesn't have that stuff, you've got to make substitutions. Well, that's not too bad. I mean, heck, if she likes any video games, unless they're, what do you call it, like Words with Friends and stuff. But if she's into any kind of actual video game that I think that's impressive. That's still more than most people. My wife, she don't like any of that stuff. I mean, I think the only video game she plays is Just Dance, because she likes to exercise and she likes to dance. But that's about the extent of her video gaming. Intense brown. That's the one I was looking for. I knew it was out here. How intense is it? Well, it's not as intense as you would think. It's intense-ish. It's got an intensity to it. All right, I'll take my big sloppy brush because I'm doing a big sloppy area. Let's get some eyes on things here. How's my phone doing here? And hopefully it's charging. Like, oh, there goes my lights. They're a lot brighter now. Now that I got juice pumping into them, because they were dying. Getting low on paint water. I'm gonna paint this like it's just wet mud, and then I'm gonna go over it with some snow later. All these guys are gonna have some kind of snow on the ground. Because it just makes sense. We're in Frosthaven. Everybody's dealing with snowy world right now. But I could probably put less snow in some characters than others, you know, be kind of like spring is coming. And, you know, right now, it's like when you first start, you're putting the paint on, it's like, oh, it doesn't look good at all. And then you slowly start adding this, that, and the other thing to it. Because you're really just basing at the start, right? You're just throwing color on, getting the undercoats on. Then, in time, you finally start to get the details to pop. And so my goal was, I said that I'm going to get some paint on these characters between every scenario. The ones I'm using especially, like Royce and Adrian, are going to keep getting more color. And hopefully, they should all be finished long before they retire, but... so that's my goal. So every time I play, theoretically, if you're paying attention, they're going to be a little bit more colorful each time, assuming they're not already done. So I'm going to let her start off in the mud. And I'm going to paint this log because it's certainly not going to be black. Oh. Because it has black on it, it just looks darker already. See, it doesn't look quite like the rest. It looks like a darker brown. Alright. It's got a little bit of paint on the floor. Something. I do. You kind of see some of the stuff behind me. I don't have a ton of gym stuff. It's not like some of these guys you go watch on Twitch who can, you know, they've got a rack and you know, big old barbells and bench. And when I work out at home, I've got a couple of things. Okay, so like I said, the thing I do when I'm online, this is my workout things, are typically to do other people's workouts. If I'm streaming at home, it'll be like a Peloton, a Beachbody, or a Spinnervolt. Spinnervolts are bike. Beachbody does like the P90X. They do the choreographed workouts, the group workouts. The what do you call it? The programs where everything's a lot more professionally done, I think. Peloton does kind of freeform-ish. So, but they do regular workouts with live trainers. So you can actually like schedule, you can just like go, oh, the next one coming on live is so-and-so's doing one on Tuesday or something. You can schedule around going to show up and do it at the same time as them. Or you could just watch the recordings. I mean, you can watch recordings. I do that all the time. I generally watch recordings because the things I want to do, they're not usually doing live. But I do also have a treadmill and a trainer bike, you know, a bike sitting on one of the flywheels. I have those as my cardio stuff inside. Now, I do the Insanity. I really like the Insanity. They're like the best ones. Insanity Max 30 and the regular original Insanity. They're awesome. You want amazing cardio workouts and you're at least moderately fit. I tell people don't do this workout unless you're at least you know your fitness level and you know how to back off. Because if you don't know how to back off when you're tired, you're gonna do something that you regret. Trust me. You do not want to be doing insanity workouts and not being decently in shape, because they are not for the weak of heart. Literally, not for the weak of heart. And I mean literal. So, yeah. But they're fun. They're good workouts. I mean, if you've got the... but when I do those, I usually do those, I stream them. I just put out I have a map. I put a map behind me here. But I don't know if you can see back behind me. I've got like a pull-up rack where I could do pull-ups and triceps and leg lifts and stuff like that. Then I have a couple of adjustable dumbbells. I do, like the what do you call it? Not Nordic. What? Who the heck are they? They have the big name that does the adjustable dumbbells. There's a lot of adjustable dumbbells out there, but the big name one, I have a set of theirs, and then I have a couple of miscellaneous weights, but I don't have like one of those racks and a bunch of stuff like that. I have a full length barbell, but I can only do like deadlifts and stuff with it because that's all I've got room for. I mean, I don't have the rack, so I have to put weights on it. I've got maybe 200 pounds of weights. I can't do bench because I don't have a bench. I have a bench, but it's not one of those that has a place to hold bars. It's just so that I could do dumbbell things like bench press and flies and stuff like that. But I can't do bench with the bar because I'd have to pick up the bar and there's nowhere to put it. No, it's just a pull-up rack. It's not a, so I could do pull-ups on it and leg lifts and tricep stuff, that kind of thing. But it's not a rack that you can, like a power tower's like it's you could put dumbbells and plates and bars on it and stuff and lift with that. I don't have one of those. And then they have adjustables where you have cables. I don't have any of that either. I don't have any of the cable machines. Low grade home stuff, man. Some people, it's kind of cool to have all that, but you really don't save money over a gym when you do that. Because it would take years. I mean, I pay $100 and some a year. So the amount of money saved by having your own home gym and never going back to the gym would take 30 years to pay off. Is that even right? 30 years at 100, that's about $3,000. Yeah, if you have less than $3,000 of equipment, it'll take 30 years to pay it off. To get the benefit of having the home gym. Okay, so there are other benefits that you can get, obviously. There's like, you don't have to deal with other people. You don't have to compete for them. But you also don't have a swimming pool and a sauna and a lot of other things that gyms come with that you get to use for your membership. So, yeah, it takes a little. A home gym is about convenience, not about financials. You're not really going to save any money doing it that way. Now, if you're stuck at home with COVID, because a pandemic hits, it's nice to have some stuff at least. I was able to keep working out throughout COVID, and I did a lot of the streaming and stuff just because it kept me in touch with the world. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, you understood what it was then, or you saw it right. It's a pretty good one. It's not attached to the floor though, so certain exercises it will move. It's like I like to do pull up leg lifts where when I'm doing the pull up, I do leg raises while I'm lifting. And and then I like to keep your legs in front of you during the pull up, and then you come all the way up. And sometimes if I'm doing them fast enough, the thing will move a little bit. It's just because it's not pinned to the ground. It's not like it's going to tip. I can tell it's not about to tip or anything. It's just it'll rock a little because I have forward and backward momentum going on it, which tends to push on the rack a little. but that's all right. It's not a problem. When I do normal things, normal pull-ups, it doesn't move at all. It's pretty stable. Have you ever done, one of the things that's really good, I like to do a mensch. I have a weight vest. It's one of the things I just recently got, like last Christmas. Not the one that just passed, but the one before. It was one of the things I wanted and got that. So it was cool. I've done like 8 mile runs in a 20-pound vest, and I've done well, menches. You know what? If you know what a mensch is, they call them hero workouts. It's one of the hero workouts. I don't know if you've ever heard of those. It's they come out where they used to. I don't know if they still do. You can probably look them up online. A mensch is one of the most popular hero workouts. They come out about every Memorial Day, I think, and they're usually workouts that came up that one of our fallen soldiers came up with. So they're kind of dedicated to them. This one is named after a guy whose last name was Mensch or Mensch something. I don't know. And there's a number of them out there. You can like look up most popular hero workouts. And this one is 1 mile run, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 squats, and another 1 mile run, all with a 20-pound vest on. It's Mensch, Mench, I think. Yeah, probably the CrossFit ones, because that's what they are. They're usually some amount of cardio plus. But some of them are ridiculously hard. It's like, a bunch of handstand push-ups. Some of them, it's just, the challenge is just being able to do it. A mensch workout is doing it fast. Most people can do it, but how long does it take you to do it? And some, like, I don't know if most people, it's pretty hard, because really you're doing what? 200, 300, 500, it's what, 600? You're doing 600 strength exercises and 2 miles of cardio, 2 miles of running with a 20-pound vest on. Now, you don't have to do them all in one go. All of the weight stuff in the middle doesn't have to be in one go. You can do it in however you want it. You can break it up. But ultimately you have to do it all in the middle, and you end it you start it with a run and you end it with a run. And then it's just how long it takes you. For me, my best time, I think about 45 minutes, 45 minutes. It's not great. They say a great time. I think I read that a great time on it is like 25 minutes, something like that. I'm like, what? 25 minutes. So that's running with a 20-pound vest on. You're probably doing a 5-6 minute mile at best. That gives you about 8 to 12 minutes to do your to do all of the 600 pull-ups, push-ups, and leg and squats with a 20-pound vest on. 100 pull-ups takes, I'm okay, it's strong, but 100 pull-ups, it would take me 10 minutes to do 100 pull-ups, because it's my weakest one, and it is the hardest. It's lifting up, you're lifting 200 and, you're basically doing a pull down of 200 and, well, for me, 205 pounds, or 201 pounds, or whatever it is I happen to be weighing, plus 20 pounds. That's a lot of pull-ups, a lot of times. So I do them in like sets of 5, 10, 12, something like that. I might start with 12, and then it's like 10, 8, 5, until I get it done. But for me, I usually do increments. So I'll do like 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 20 squats. And I just do that. 5 pull-ups, 20 push-ups, 20 squats. Sometimes I'll even break up the pull-ups into every other one. So I'll do 5 pull-ups, 20 push-ups, and 5 more pull-ups, and 30 squats. So it's like doing 10, 20, 30. But it breaks up the pull-ups into 2 sets during the round. So when I come back around, so it's basically every other thing I do is 5 pull-ups. 5 pull-ups, 20 push-ups, 5 pull-ups, 30 squats, 5 pull-ups. So I just keep throwing it in there until I reach that, because the pull-ups are my weakest one, and it gives me more breaks for doing smaller amounts, and I'm not burning out as much. It still takes me about 40 minutes to do it. I'm just my mile time with the 20-pound vest is about let's say 8 minutes. I've done it in 7.5, but when I do it twice, it's about 8 minutes. Um, so I might do the first one in 750 or something like that. I could probably do it faster, but if again, I burn out too much. And then the second one is usually slower. I run half marathons and full marathons, so the running really isn't that hard. And now that I'm getting used to doing it with a vest, it's the pull-ups that always kill me on that. It just takes me too long. Yeah, they're pretty impressive. Those people. I've never seen a person do it in 25 minutes, but that's what they say is like top flight fitness level is to be able to do it in 25 minutes. I'm like, whatever. Not this boy. Nope. What time is it? I got a little bit more time here. I can go a little bit more here. This guy looks like an ink transparent blue. Why not? I think that's what I have right here, as a matter of fact. Transparent blue. Oops, see, I'm falling off the screen. You should yell at me whenever I fall off the screen, man. Tell me, hey, dude, you're not on the screen. I can't see anything you're doing. Is my light dying? Oh, it's kinda. It's a pretty good clue for me to start thinking about wrapping it up when my headlamp starts to die. I've been doing it too long without a break. But yeah, I like challenging myself with various. The longest I've ran in my 20-pound vest was 8 miles, and then like 3 days later, I ran a half marathon distance. That was right at Thanksgiving here this last year. I did the 8 miles because I needed to train for a longer distance, but I didn't have time. And I like if I do it with a vest, I feel like that kind of compensates for not doing the same amount of length. And so, every now and then I go like run an easy 5 mile run or something, just to try to make sure I don't lose what I've gained. But I probably struggle right now to do a full marathon. It'll probably take me 3 months to get up to full marathon distance again. Um, haven't done a full marathon in a while. Full marathons are torture. I have not done one yet that I felt, well, that's not true, where I pretty much felt like I'm good to go afterwards. They just wear you out. I've had the last full marathon I did took me 3 hours and 45 minutes, which was my goal time. Uh, it was, which was great. I've run like I don't know. I want to say like 6 full marathons, and that one was the only one where I didn't have some kind of a uh, flaw. One, I was running so fast, I was doing so good, and in fact, yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you're. See, that's when I started moving to morning workouts. I had always had problems with being consistent. In my life, I can't remember the last time I went a full week without any exercise, where I didn't do anything specifically a workout. if I go on long trips, I usually will go to the hotel gym, or I'll just go run in the neighborhood, or I do something. And recently, now that I've introduced running, I used to just always try to find a gym, or I'd find some weights, or just do something. So it's very rare for me to go, more than a few days without exercise. But uh, when when I used to work out around here, hey, my light on my thing is dying. In fact, I know it is because this is not. It's getting really hard to see here. But a guy at work, I used to try to go work out in the afternoon, and there was a guy at work who I talked to him, and he was saying he works out in the mornings, and I'm like, I used to always get up really early and go to work. I would just go in at 4:30, just start my day so I could get done early, be done by 2 or 3 o'clock, and then I'd go to the gym. And it was nice because you had a whole afternoon. But the thing is, too many things kept coming up. I have a family, and it'd always be something. My wife would tell me, hey, we got this going on or that going on. Are you going to be able to come? And of course, family's important to me. So it's always like, yeah, I can do that. Then there goes my workout because I'm doing this other thing. And things would just happen. It would always, get in the way. And I'd be lucky to get 3 days in a week. I was rare that I could get 4 or 5. I always wanted to do more, but I just didn't have the time. And then, so I says, you know what? People don't even know I come in at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning most of the days because most people don't come in until 8, 9 o'clock. And I'm like, shoot, why don't I just come in at 8, 9 o'clock like everybody else and go to the gym before the day even gets going? So I thought I'd try it out for a couple of days and see how it went. I really liked it. It's like, oh wow, I never miss a workout. It's like I can always go in. If something comes up in the afternoon, well, then I just go home. I don't care because I don't have to work out. I've already done my workout for the day. So yeah, I started working out in the mornings, and now I work out every day in the mornings. I always get up same time, just like I used to. I still always get up at, you know, 4:30, 5:30. But instead of going to work, I just go to the gym, or go downstairs and do whatever, or go run, or whatever I want to do. And recently, started streaming it. But morning workouts are the best. Now, some people have to go to work super early in the morning, so it's hard to work out in the morning. Like if you have to be at work at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, it doesn't work, obviously. But if you have the option of getting up early, I do recommend it. I don't use an alarm either. My body, I don't know what it is. My body's always been kind of trained to work out, to wake up after about 7 to 8 hours. I always wake up 7 to 8 hours, even on a weekend. I don't get up on the weekends though. I'll lie back to sleep and try to go back to sleep, and I can usually fall asleep again if I want to. But I always wake up at that time, and during the week I'll just look at the clock. If it says sometime 4:30 or later, I'm like, okay, let's get out of bed, let's get moving. And so I just try to make sure I get to bed. I try to get to bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock, and it usually gets me my full shift of sleep. And I wake up about the time I need to in order to go work out. And I never work out on Saturdays. Never. Well, okay. I never do a workout on Saturdays. I will do things that are exercise. Like if I can find somebody to play tennis with during the nice weather, I'll go play tennis on a Sunday or a Saturday. But I'll never actually go to the gym or just do exercise because I don't. It's my day off. It's also the Sabbath. Yes, I'm not Jewish, but I do kind of believe in the Sabbath, and I believe you should have a rest day. So I treat that as my rest day. So I tend to be real good about that. 5 to 6 days a week though I'm working out. So tomorrow I'll be doing cardio. Mostly I do cardio on Sundays because I don't have a lot of time. I can't go to the gym and If I go to church, I don't go to church every day. We used to go all the time. We need to start going back. I've been bad. My wife and I have been kind of just being lazy, I guess. Problem is, the church that we go to lately has moved their service to like 8:30 in the morning, and it's like, really, 8:30 in the morning on a Sunday? I get up so early during the week. I don't want to get up at 6 o'clock again in the morning so I can get my workout in. And some people say, go after church. I know, but I feel like after church, I'm ready to do my day. It's like going to work. I don't want to work out after anymore. I'm stubborn. Well, that's good. To me, any exercise, I tell my wife, look, if you ain't got time for more than 20 minutes of exercise in a day, then do 20 minutes. That's fine. It's better something than nothing. You get the heart rate up, you loosen up the muscles a little bit, you can get stronger doing even that. But if nothing else, you prevent what I call the 3-day regression. I heard this somewhere. I don't know who said it or what, but after 3 days of doing nothing, or of a muscle doing nothing, your body starts into that downward regression. This is when your body starts to actually go the other direction. Now, it's not like you're going to be 100 pounds on Monday, and if you skip 3 days on Friday, you're doing, 90 pounds. It's not going to be that obvious. But after 3 days, your body starts to break down a little bit. And you won't notice it. If you skip a week, you might even heal the muscles enough that even that regression, you're going to be pretty strong. You might actually come out of it. So some people say you should take a week off or a number of days off just to let the body fully recover. And so sometimes there's a tiny bit of regression. You won't notice it. And because your muscles have healed 100%, you might be better and more capable to go forward again. It's kind of like taking that one step back, 2-step forward, 1 step back kind of deal. But it's going to be easier to take the 2 steps. If you're constantly trying to do forward, you could actually end up getting to the point where you injure yourself and you end up having to take weeks off instead of, days off. But naturally, so my idea is avoid the 3-day regression by getting a little bit of all your muscles in there each day. If you can peak your effort on a muscle every day, every few days, you keep that 3-day regression at bay. But yeah, 10-day is probably about right. But 10 days when you might actually start noticing it. You might actually go in and go, wow, this is really hard. This is a lot harder than I expected. I could bench 250 10 times last week. It's been 10 days, and today 225 10 times feels a little hard. It doesn't mean you've actually lost your 250. It just means your body's kind of stressing, and it might not be able to do 10 times at 250 because you might actually notice the gap. Because the peak points of your strength, they're the volatile ones. They're the ones that go up and down. You're either going to go a little higher or a little lower. You're going to have those days. Because those are the ones that's the top. You're at the top, right? So some days you just don't have it, and other days you have a little bit more. But once you start you start having that regression showing, you may actually notice that you might be 5 pounds lighter or two reps lighter because you just lost a little bit. So it's a problem with skipping for too long of a period. Like if you only do cardio for a month, you're going to find that you're a little weak when you go to the gym and lift weights because you might not have that strength. But when you do your exercise, even if it's 20 minutes a day or whatever it is, when you hit the muscles, hit them hard. I don't mean like just come out the gate and start going nuts. I mean bring them to their peak, to the hard point. So what that is if you're doing lighter weights, like if you only have 50-pound weights at home, do enough that you can't do any more. Even in that 20 minutes. I mean, I don't mean to keep doing sets. Do a single set where you do 50 pounds until you can't do anymore. Or maybe you do 3 sets until you can't do anymore. But either way, you're going to a point where you're pushing that muscle to its stopping point, and then go on to something else, and then do that muscle, and then that muscle. At least if you reach those peaks, you're telling your body, hey, look, I'm still pushing to the limit, and it'll help you to hold that limit. And then when you're ready to go do a longer workout, you're more ready to push farther and maybe get a little bit more in there, get extra sets in. So you want to make sure that you challenge yourself. If you're just You don't want to just go like, I can do 20 pull-ups. I'm going to go do a quick 10. And then do a quick 10. And then another boring, do another quick 10. And you never really get too tired. Yeah, you're a little sore. The muscles have woke up. But if you never really challenge yourself, you never get close to what you can do, then the muscles don't. It's kind of like you're just doing what you can do. And if all you do is what you can do easily each time, you don't push yourself to that limit. You can still find that when you're finally ready to go do 20 again, you can only do 18 because your body's adjusted. It's like, well, you haven't done 20 in a month. You've been doing 10s and you've never really got tired. You didn't do 10 to the point of failure. You did 10 to the point of, I just wanted to get a little something in, you know. So you kind of want to make sure you push yourself. That's another thing Jeff Cavalier likes to say. He says, it's not about quantity or weight, it's about quality. It's like, how hard are you pushing yourself for whatever quantity and quality you're doing? Or quantity and quantity that you're doing. So, if you're doing 15 reps, is that 15 reps your hardest reps? Or do you have 18, 19, 22 in you, but you only went to 15 because that's a good number? You know, if you're only going to 15 because it's a good number, then you didn't get a quality set in there. You should feel like those last ones are some of your last ones. So when you go do another 15, you either have to lower the weight or take a really long break. You know, so you don't want to, and you don't want to take really long breaks. If you're 2 minutes is probably about the length of the break. Trust me, this is one of the things you're going to notice with me when I do my streams. I talk too much. I oftentimes will have 3 minutes, 4 minutes between a lift. And it's not intentional. I try to go fast. So my goal, that they measure for me for a good workout, is to get my heart rate up to an average of at least above 110. Oftentimes I'm about 105 to 110, but ideally I'm above 110 to 120. So I'll try to do like a jump rope or some pull-ups and just do some stuff to get my heart rate up and get consistently up. And then I go start. So I start with my heart rate up a little bit and then try to keep it up there. Now, my streaming software that I use is called Camerify. I used to use Streamlabs, but Streamlabs decided I could no longer stream to a RTMP server, like a Restream or something like that. They said, okay, if you want to do this anymore, you have to pay. And I'm like, what? You have bugs. I mean, Streamlabs has bugs everywhere. It's cool. It's got a lot of cool features. But like you can't touch the middle of the screen. The Bluetooth doesn't work on your headset anymore. It used to, but it doesn't anymore. When you share, you do a little screen share thing on it. It half the time it shows up as a black box to the people who are watching. And I'm like, you got all these bugs, and you want me to pay $20 a month for your software with all these bugs that you have not fixed in like 3 months? In fact, you broke at least two of those things. In fact, have been broken. They used to work, don't work anymore. So I was like, I'm not going to pay for a software that only works part of the time. I can't even touch the middle of the screen. So I tried something else. I looked around for other apps. The best rated one is Camerify. Camerify will let me share my screen, but I can only put my self picture. The camera is small. It's like not even a quarter of the screen. It's probably a sixth of the screen when it's at its biggest, which is kind of and I can't do overlays. I used to be able to do overlays. I mean, it has overlays, but if you turn them on, like an overlay like my heart rate strap and stuff, where it used to show my heart rate on there, I can't use that anymore. Because when that's on, I can't touch the screen. None of the screen features work. You can turn it on, but you have to put it on really low transparency, so you can barely see it. It's like microscopic. If you have to look really closely, you can see the shadow of the number. And so unfortunately, there's a lot of features I can't use. So it's kind of gone downhill, apps and availability. I'm going to bed. Probably should not have killed that. I often will save half a can, but I'm thirsty. Um, what was I? Oops. Oh, I know. I want to plug in my headset. As you can see, I've got my, probably can't see, got my Frosthaven stuff over here all ready to go when I'm ready to do the next one. I actually, here, hold it. I've already set up my scenario. I got my bone walker, not bone walker, death walker. I got her deck picked out. I already kind of went through the cards. I got everything ready to go. I've got the scenario set up. I'm hoping maybe, yeah, maybe not. Depending on how early I get my workout done, maybe I'll try to do a scenario tomorrow morning. Because I doubt I'll have time in the evening because the football game's going to end probably 4 o'clock. No, it starts at 3. No, it starts at 3:30. It's probably not going to end until 6:37. Then when people leave, it's getting late because I got to get to bed early enough. So probably going to be, if it ain't tomorrow morning, I probably won't try until maybe Monday night. It's tough to do them on the weeknights. It's really challenging, but so anyway, I gotta hit the hay. It's time for me to call it a day. Got a decent amount of stuff kind of done today. I mean, it was not great. Like I said, I'm a talker, but I kept moving, kept going, got things primed. So this is the crab I'm working on. I'm putting on some water around said crab, and I'm hoping to be able to get a layer that's pretty deep on there, so we'll see how it all comes out once it's all in there. But yeah. But anyway, Ivan, thanks for coming by, chatting with me, man, keeping me company. Anybody else who checks us out in post, make sure you like, subscribe, whatever it is that you can do on YouTube to a guy who's got 30 some followers. But if you like these kind of things and you're into miniatures at all, you like to play games with miniatures and you like to collect them, check out the X Case and the Mage Cage on Active Minds Games on YouTube and Instagram. And if you like those kind of things and you think you want to paint and you want to collect paints, and so these are, let's see if I can show you what they look like. You've probably seen them because if you've watched any of my videos before, you see them all around. But so this is my paint station. These are X cases right here. All of these items here, and they hold about 38 bottles of paint. They hold minis if you put the magnets in them. Over here you see a bunch of them holding minis. These are some of them are mage cages, which have little shelves in the back. They all connect. You can see they're all different shapes and sizes because they're all the same. They're all one unit, and they connect vertically, horizontally, front to front, back to back. And then back here I have my Frosthaven ones are over there. So yeah, anyway, those are the X case and mage cages. If you like those and you want to have somewhere to store, they have mounting holes on the back too, so you could actually hang them up on the wall. I have a bunch of them back there on the wall where I put all my collectible stuff in there, because you can put like Hot Wheels in there and other things, and then you can mount them on the wall, connect them up. They have handles on them. So check those things out if you like those kind of things and you think you might want to back us when we do our Kickstarter to get more clear ones and make bigger ones, and the inserts that go with them, shelves and drawers and stuff that you can stick in there and customize your cases to fit your stuff. If you think you might want to help back that, go to Facebook, Active Minds Games, and follow us there, because we're using that as kind of a meter to, once we get enough followers on there, we'll announce our Kickstarter launch date. So it's going to take a little while. We're about, how many? 400 followers right now. We're trying to get to about 800. So we got a ways to go, but the more people come by and check that out, the better chance we get to launch those. Sooner the better. Anyway, again, till next time, goodbye.